Well, this is a story about two children who lived in Victorian times who didn't like doing the chores. The children were called Maggie and Jamie. They were sister and brother. And their mum and dad were weavers, which meant that they went out from the house into a shed next door and would weave cloth. And so, while their mum and dad were busy, Maggie and Jamie had the job of making sure that chores were done. Now, in those days, there was no such thing as washing machines or dishwashers or hoovers, and so everything had to be done by hand. To make it a bit more interesting and a bit more fun, they would do their chores while singing a song.
This is the way we make the beds, make the beds, make the beds. This is the way we make the beds every single morning. This is the way we sweep the floor, sweep the floor, sweep the floor. This is the way we sweep the floor every single morning. This is the way we wash the dishes, wash the dishes, wash the dishes. This is the way we wash the dishes every single morning. This is the way we clean the clothes, clean the clothes, clean the clothes. This is the way we clean the clothes every single morning.
And it's not fair.
Well, one day after finishing all their chores, an old lady came by and heard them complaining, "It's not fair." And she went up and she said, "Oh, what's the matter, bairns? What's no fair?" And they said, "Oh, we've got to do these chores. We've got no time to play in the morning." "Oh, aye, well, chores have to be done, you can. But if you want, you can get somebody else to do them for you." "Oh," said the children, "we've no money to pay anyone else to do the chores for us." "Oh, I'm not talking about servants. I'm talking about you can get the fairies to do it for you." "The fairies? Aye. Mind they'll no do it for nothing." "Oh, well, we've no money." "Oh, they didn't want money. Fairies didn't want metal. Metal's dangerous for them. Did you no ken that?" "No. All a fairy would want for payment for doing all your chores is a wee bannock." "A bannock? What's a bannock?" "Oh, it's a wee oatcake. Oh, it's delicious. Oh, we didn't care how to make bannocks." "Oh, well, this is what you do. A wee slab of butter, some oatmeal and a bit of flour. Mix it together with a wee pour of milk and a wee pinch of salt. Spread it out, put it on the pan on the heat. You got a delicious bannock. You could even add a wee bit of honey to make it extra sweet." "Oh, will that really work?" "Aye, all you do is this. You put the bannock on the doorstep at night. And that night a wee fairy will be going by and they'll smell the bannock. On the second night you do the same thing. You put the bannock on the doorstep and the fairy will come back thinking, oh, there must be another bannock. And sure enough, the bannock will be there. But on the third night, you didn't put anything. And the fairy will come and think, oh, there's no bannock tonight. Where's my bannock? Those bannocks were delicious. And in the morning, the fairy will come knocking on your door and say, oh, please can I have another bannock? And you just have to say to the fairy, oh, I'd love to make you a bannock, but we can't because we've got all these chores to do. And the fairy will offer to do your chores just in return for a bannock. Really? Aye, really? Well, the old woman said, it's up to you if you want to try it. And off she went. Well, Maggie and her wee brother Jamie discussed it and they decided they would try it. And that evening, they made bannocks. Their mum and dad were very impressed. And they followed the old woman's instructions. The first night, they put a bannock on the doorstep. And sure enough, in the morning, it was gone. The second night, they put a bannock on the doorstep, and sure enough, In the morning it was going. Maybe it's a fox, said Jamie. Nah, foxes didn't eat bannocks, said Maggie. They do in the story Wee Bannock. Aye, but that's the story. What did the old woman say? Don't put one on the third night. So on the third night they didn't put a bannock on the doorstep. And sure enough, in the morning, as soon as the mum and dad had left, there was a knock at the door. They rushed to the door, all excited. It was the postman. Oh, I knew it wouldn't work, says wee Jamie. I suppose we better do our chores, says his sister Maggie, and they were just about to get to the bedroom to start making the beds when there was another knock at the door. So they went to the door, and this time they opened it, and it was the faerie on the doorstep. Oh, the bannocks were really delicious. They were yummy. Can I have another bannock, please? You left one on for 2 nights, but you didn't leave one on last night. Please, can I have my bannock? The two children looked at each other. Well, we'd love to give you a bannock, but we can't because we've got all these chores that we have to do, and we've no time to make bannocks. The wee fairy looked at them and said, well, if you invite me into your house, I'll do all the chores for you in return for a bannock. It's a deal, said the children, and they invited him into the house. Now let me tell you something about fairies. If you invite them into your house, you cannot uninvite them. The only way to leave is when they decide they want to leave. However, the two children were fine with this because they wanted their chores done. And the fairy came in and looked at the beds, and he went, dit-dat-do, dit-dat-do. The beds were done. And he looked at the broom, and he went, dit-dat-do, dit-dat-do. And the broom brushed the whole of the house, swept it clean. Then the fairy looked at all the dishes and went, dit-dat-do, dit-dat-do. All the dishes were done. Then the fairy looked at all the big pile of dirty washing and went, dit-dat-do, dit-dat-do. Like magic, all the clothes jumped into the tub, washed themselves, and within 10 minutes, all of the chores were done. Can I have my bannock now, please? Yeah, said the children, and gave the fairy his bannock. I'll see you tomorrow. I'll do all your chores then as well, in return for the bannock. Bye. Fantastic, thought the children. We're going to have the best life ever. Any work that we needed done, we don't have to do it. We can get the fairy to do it, and all we have to do is make one bannock. What a great deal. Can't wait till tomorrow. Well, that morning was the best morning ever. And when their mum and dad came back later in the day, they were so impressed. Well done, children, they said. We've never seen the house so tidy and neat. Oh, and clean. You're doing your chores really, really well. We're proud of you. Thanks, Mum. Thanks, Dad. They thought about telling the truth, but then they decided, nah, let's keep it a secret. Well, that was Monday, so the next day was Tuesday. And as soon as the mum and dad left to do their work in the shed in the garden, there was a knock at the door. Oh, that'll be the fairy. And so Maggie and Jamie go to the door, and they open the door, and there is the fairy on the doorstep. But this fairy has got a friend now, so there's not one but 2 fairies. We've come to do your chores. Now the trouble is, having invited the one fairy, they couldn't not invite the other one. And so they said, well, okay. So the fairies came into their house. Very quickly they did the chores.
Duck-duck-do. Can we have our bannock, please?
And this time, the children have to give out 2 bannocks. The next day was Wednesday, and there was a knock on the door in the morning, as soon as their mum and dad had left. And when they opened the door this time, there were 4 fairies on the doorstep. And like before, they couldn't refuse entry, so 4 fairies came in and did all the chores. Dit-dat-do, dit-dat-do. And this time, the children had to hand over 4 bannocks Oh no, later on they realised what was happening. Every day, Maggie said, what's happening is each fairy is bringing a friend, which means that each day the numbers of fairies who want bannocks is doubling. And Thursday, it's going to be 8. We're going to have to make 8 bannocks. So they set to work making bannocks as quickly as possible. Sure enough, on Thursday morning, as soon as their mum and dad left, there was a knock at the door. And when the children opened the door, 8 fairies were at the door and they couldn't refuse them entry, so 8 fairies quickly did all the chores. Dit-dat-do, dit-dat-do. And the children had to hand over 8 bannocks. And when they closed the door, they couldn't relax, they couldn't play, they couldn't do things they wanted to. They had to think, oh no, how many bannocks do we have to make for tomorrow? Right. So the day was Thursday and there were 8 fairies, and if each of them brings a friend, tomorrow on Friday there'll be 16. Oh no. And so the children, they had to spend the rest of the day making bannocks. They had no free time at all. In fact, they even had to spend most of their pocket money on ingredients. On Friday morning, as soon as her mum and dad had left, there was a knock at the door. When they went to the door, 16 fairies were on the doorstep, and very quickly they did all the chores. Dit-dat-do, dit-dat-do. Can we have our bannocks, please? 16 bannocks. Oh, the next day was Saturday. Her mum and dad worked Saturday too. But how many bannocks would they have to make for Saturday? If each fairy brings a friend, 32. Oh no. So on Friday they spent the rest of their pocket money and they worked the hardest they've ever worked. And on Saturday morning, as soon as her mum and dad left to go to the weaver shed in the garden, there was a knock at the door. When they went to the door, sure enough, when they opened it, there were 32 fairies. 32! Standing on the doorstep. They had to invite them in, and they very quickly did all the housework. Dit-dat-do, dit-dat-do. Can we have our bannocks, please? And so Maggie and Jamie had to hand over 32 bannocks. They had no pocket money left. They were exhausted, and when the fairies left and they closed the door, tomorrow's Sunday. Mum and Dad are going to be here on Sunday. They don't work on Sunday. And how many fairies are going to come to the door? Oh, if there were 32 today on Saturday. And they counted in their head, and they counted on a piece of paper. 64 fairies. We can't do it. We're in trouble. What are we going to do?